What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're having a wonderful weekend. Chargers Now is presented by Prize Picks. I am your host, Will Ortner, and unfortunately, we're going to have to talk about something that's got me really upset. My gears are grinding right now because I think that the NFL found a way to absolutely screw over the Los Angeles Chargers, and we didn't deserve any of this treatment. Now, I know that when we started this week off, I told you that the schedule wasn't going to be all that bad for the Chargers just based on the opponents that they were playing. But here's the thing. The Chargers are playing some of these opponents at the worst possible time. In today's video, I'm going to break it down, and then I'm going to break down how the Chargers can essentially make this not really be an issue. Did the Chargers get handed a difficult schedule? Let me know down below in the comment section if you agree with me or disagree. Type Y for yes on the difficult schedule. Type N for no. I'm interested to see what your opinion is. Maybe I'm blowing things out of proportion, but I do feel like the Chargers are getting hurt by the National Football League, and it's not fair, even though the fair might be in August or in October, depending on where you live. How did the NFL hurt the Chargers? You might be asking. Well, you're getting upset for no reason. Go take some blood pressure medication and find a way to calm down. But I'm telling you that the NFL found a way in two different spots to screw over the Chargers. First of all, the Chargers have maybe one of the more difficult early gauntlets in the National Football League. Now, there's a reason why when you play in the AFC West that there is going to be a more difficult schedule than normal because it's a really good division. You also look at the fact that the Chargers have to play the NFC West. Well, that's a really good division. So it is going to be a more difficult schedule. But is there an opportunity for the NFL to maybe not have an 8-week stretch where the Chargers play a ton of really good football teams? Yeah, there would have been. But instead of doing that, the National Football League said, hey, let's have an early gauntlet for the Chargers. Now, the first two games of the year against the Cardinals and the Raiders, those are easy games. But the fact that the Chargers have to go on this run from week 3 until week 10, and the only reprieve that the Chargers get is week 7 bye week, is absolutely ridiculous. That is an insane 8-week stretch, and I don't know that there's a single team in the National Football League that has to go on a worse schedule or 8-week stretch than this Chargers team. And I know I might be a bit of a boy who cried wolf here. I might be a bit hyperbolic. But when we break down why this is a brutal schedule and why that gauntlet is insane, you can really see it illustrated here how tough those games are. 5 of the 7 teams that the Chargers are going to play made the playoffs last year. Hey, just so you know, the 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs on that stretch, Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes, Baltimore Ravens with Lamar Jackson. You're playing the defending Super Bowl champions. You're playing a team in the Los Angeles Rams that would have been the Super Bowl champions if they could have beat the Seattle Seahawks. You're playing a team in Buffalo that is right on the cusp of getting into that Super Bowl as well, if there were a couple calls that end up going their way. 5 of those 7 games, you're going on the road, by the way. It's not like, hey, it's an evenly split. Hey, some of these games are at home. Some of them are on the road. Maybe there's 3 games in a row that are at home, or at least 2 where there isn't as much travel. And I know some of you are going to say, well, it's not like the Chargers are really going anywhere when they take on the Rams because that's still a home game. It's still insane. 4 of the teams that you're playing on that run have great freaking defenses, I might add. So it's not like you're playing a bunch of teams where it's like, hey, let's get into a shootout, or maybe defensive coordinator Chris O'Leary has a good game plan and we could look really good. It's 4 really good defenses, Seattle and Houston being some of the best in the National Football League last year, and the Rams, they got better. Oh, by the way, 6 of those teams you're playing have really good offenses, and the team that doesn't have a good offense, the Houston Texans, they might have the best defense, probably second best. I think that the best defense goes to Seattle, but still, that's brutal of a run there for the Los Angeles Chargers. But you should still subscribe to the channel. I know that I'm being a little bit of a crybaby right now, but I'm telling you that this Chargers team, they're going to be in a really good position, I think, to still have some success. It's a tough gauntlet, but they'll be okay. We got some more to break down here for our favorite team in LA, but I do need to let you know that today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 sports picks app. and is the best place to win cash while watching sports. With playoff basketball finally here, there's no better time to cash in than with our friends at Prize Picks. And I'll tell you this, the app, it's really easy to use. To qualify for a Prize Picks lineup, pick 2 to 6 players and select more or less on stat projections, including points, rebounds, assists, three-pointers, hits, home runs, strikeouts, and several others across all major sports. One thing I really love is the new social feeds feature, where you can share Prize Picks with your friends and copy lineups with a single click. You can actually follow me on the app at BigWill7774 to see all of my lineups. I have a lineup for the football action going on later on this year. Justin Herbert, more on his pass yards. Quentin Johnson, more on his receiving touchdowns. Rashid Shaheed, more on his receiving yards. New user offer. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to receive $50 in lineups. That's code HMA when you play your first $5 lineup to get an extra $50 in lineups with Prize Picks. Clickable link to download the app is in the comments and description. Now, if that mini gauntlet was not enough for the Los Angeles Chargers, and I'm being extra demonstrative here because I am a little bit pissed off right now, there are more issues that the Chargers have to deal with this schedule. Because it's not just the fact that the Chargers have an early gauntlet, it's that the Chargers have to play the most amount of teams coming off a bye in the National Football League. Now, they are tied with the Philadelphia Eagles, but the fact that the Chargers have to go through a difficult schedule where they also have to play teams that are more rested, more prepared than they are is absolutely brutal. The Chargers are going to have to play 4 teams that are coming off their bye. And the fact that the Chargers have to deal with this is absolutely asinine, if you ask me. Who are those opponents that are coming off their bye weeks? Well, week 6 when you play the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, to be fair, that is a little bit of an early bye. Chiefs having the bye week on week 5 is weird, but you do have to take them on. Houston Texans, week 8 is their bye week, so you're in the middle of that gauntlet. You got to take on the Texans. Now, week 12, you're taking on a Patriots team. You're out of the gauntlet, but only barely because you only play the Jets, and that Patriots team is still pretty freaking good. Now, they're going to be coming off a bye week in week 11, and week 14, you are going to be taking on a team in the Raiders that is going to be difficult as well, and that's simply just because they are coming off their bye week. So how brutal is this schedule for the Chargers? It just feels like not only do you have one of the worst gauntlets, but you also have to take on a team that, in my opinion, or multiple teams, I should say, that are going to have a clear advantage over you simply because of how everything is situated. The first thing that we have to talk about with this brutal schedule is the fact that the Chargers are going to play teams that have had extra time to prepare against them. When you have a bye week, you're going to take time over the next 2 weeks to prepare for a team. That allows you to have more trick plays, that allows you to have more time diagnosing their offenses, their defenses, their special teams, everything. So the game plan will be at the best that it can be aside from week 1 for these opposing teams because they've had more time to prepare. Well, the Chargers only have 7 days. Let's be honest, it's not 7 because you're not preparing for that team on Sunday. You got 6 days to prepare for a game. The other team, they've got 13. That's Bush League. You've got extra rest for these players as well. When you are going through an NFL season, it can be difficult for these players to stay healthy or feel 100% rested. And it's honest fact, most guys don't. Even after the bye, they don't feel 100% rested. But what they do feel is better than what they were before. Those nicks, those scrapes, those bruises, they go away, or at least they dull. And so these teams are going to be able to feel more comfortable about where they're at when they take on this Chargers team. I feel like this Chargers schedule is unnecessarily difficult. I feel like there was an option for the NFL to go, let's spread some of these games out. Maybe they don't have to play some of these teams off of all of their bye weeks. Let me know if you agree with me or you disagree with me. Maybe I'm a little bit too hot right now in May. Maybe I should cool down just a little bit. Let me know if you agree or disagree in that comment section. All right. I think the last thing that we need to mention is that they're already difficult games if they were fair. And what I mean by fair is both teams play on Sunday and they play the next Sunday. But that's not what's happening. When you look through some of these teams, right, it's some of the best that the Chargers are going to have to play. Kansas City, I think, gets back into the postseason. I think the Texans and the Patriots all have good chances to get in the postseason. Those are difficult games to begin with. Then you're giving them extra rest. Now, the Raiders game, I don't want to say that that's the most difficult game in the world. In fact, I think it's the most easy game in that division. But I also think it's important to mention that anytime you're playing a team that is a division rival and they get extra time for you, that's a difficult game. And even if they didn't get extra time, those Raiders players are getting up for Chargers games because it's a division game. It means more. So you've got difficult games already, and then you're giving those teams extra time to prepare, extra time to get healthy. It just feels unfair. And it feels like the Chargers are having to deal with things that no one else is having to deal with. But it's also important to mention that the fair is in August, William. And that's what my mother used to tell me every time I complained about things not being fair. If this Chargers team is as good as we think they will be, they will win those football games. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Hit that thumbs up button because you love the Los Angeles Chargers and you love everything that we've got going here. If you subscribe to the channel, you're going to make sure that you don't miss any Chargers news or rumors in the year of 2026. Thank you guys so much for viewing today's video. Cannot wait to see you next time. And as always, bolt up.